Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guests today are John Kenyon from the Iowa City of Literature. John, welcome.
Thank you.
And Tricia Park, a former Iowa City resident, now studying and playing professionally in Chicago, which we'll dive into a little bit more as we go along. Tricia, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having us, Dennis.
You too have put together for some years now the MusicIC Chamber Music Festival. And John, when we think of the City of Literature, we don't always think music events. So this is kind of the one music thing that the City of Literature does. So tell me a little bit about how it came about that you went in this direction for this festival.
Sure. Well, I'll let Tricia talk about the full history of the festival, but actually, City of Literature becoming involved happened when I was actually on the board of directors of the Summer of the Arts organization here in Iowa City. And Summer of the Arts had been the home of Music IC, kind of an interim period. And there were just a lot of discussions about finding the perfect home for Music IC. And because it's a festival that celebrates the intersections between chamber music and literature, it felt like the City of Literature organization could be a good home to be a good fit for that. And so we took that on in 2016 and have been working with Tricia and others ever since to produce the festival. But it's actually in its 15th year now, so there is a history certainly that predates the affiliation with our organization here.
Let's go farther back in time. We're kind of doing it backwards. But Tricia, you're the founding director of the festival. Tell me how it came about originally.
So I created Music IC 15 years ago. Feels like a flash, a blink of an eye, but we've been really fortunate to be a part of the sort of larger cultural environment of Iowa City, which is really rich. And it was created out of a real deep love for the city and was inspired by the intersection of all the different arts that happen in the city of Iowa City, but also sort of the larger area. And we wanted to create a really unique experience musically and literarily for a community that has so many really incredible artists who live in and around the area. And also because I'm a classical violinist and a Juilliard trained violinist, but also a writer myself, I was really interested in creating kind of immersive experiences that bring text, prose, poetry, and music together. And so we serve the community through inventive musical concerts, and we also often present lectures and discussions. And most of our a lot of our opportunities for public engagement tend to be free or very low cost. And we've also had lots of fruitful experiences and interactions with other organizations in Iowa City. Of course, City of Literature, we're so delighted to be a part of, but we've also worked with the Iowa Summer Writing Festival and collaborated with a lot of contemporary writers, musicians, and artists. We also have a secondary mission, which is to bring Iowa grown and Midwestern musicians and artists back to the area. And so this particular project, we're really delighted to be working with so many University of Iowa students and faculty members as well.
And one of whom is you, because now you live in Chicago, but you come back to Iowa to run and participate in the festival every year.
Yes, I will be playing. I was on the faculty, people may remember, at the University of Iowa as first violinist of the Mayo Quartet. And then when the quartet disbanded, I left that position, but maintained my affiliation, of course, with the city, but also kept Music IC going. And it's always a delight to come back to Iowa City. I love Iowa City, and to have the opportunity to do that pretty much every year has been a joy.
This year's program sounds fascinating, and it is exactly as you all have said, the intersection between literature and music. It's called Penelope, and in your materials you sent around promoting it, you call it a song cycle. So it's music, but it tells a unique story.
Yeah, so this is a piece written by Sarah Kirkland Snider, who's an amazing composer who's super active and has been really lauded in the last few years, especially. She's part of this wave of really exciting contemporary classical music composers who really defy genre and straddle a lot of different styles. And this piece definitely sort of reflects that. It's a song cycle for vocalists, string quintet, percussion, and electronics. It was written in 2009 for the incredible vocalist Shara Nova, who we're delighted and excited will be joining us for our Iowa City performance. So to have the original artist for whom the piece was written for is a really special gift. People may also know Shara from her band, My Brightest Diamond, and also her work with such artists as David Byrne and Sufjan Stevens. So she's really incredible. She's a Broadway artist, a classical musician. But Sarah's piece, Penelope, was written by her and another Iowa City Connection playwright, Ellen McLaughlin, in 2008. And in this piece, it's inspired by Homer's epic poem, The Odyssey. And it's really telling a sort of story or a retelling of the Odyssey from Penelope, or the wife's point of view. So in this piece, the woman's husband comes back home after this absence of 20 years, but has brain damage. And as a veteran of an unnamed war, he doesn't know who he is, and she doesn't know who he's become. And so while they sort of wait to figure out this like transitional period and for him to return to himself, she starts reading to him from the Odyssey. And so this piece is really cool. It's sort of suspended between art song, indie rock, and chamber folk. And so people are going to have this experience of like acoustic strings, but also like pop and rock elements with drums, guitars, and electronics, and incredible songwriting. Again, the literary component of this piece is really, really important. And so it's a moving and really inspirational experience that'll be very unique, and we're hoping everybody comes out for it.
For those who aren't familiar with the term song cycle, what's the difference between a program that you call a song cycle versus an opera versus a musical?
Yeah, so a song cycle is more intimate than an opera or a musical, so this won't be fully staged. And it's a little more akin to what we consider chamber music. So in classical music, chamber music is music that was, as its as its moniker might indicate, is meant to be played in chambers. So it's a very small, intimate experience. And we will have that at the James Theater where we're presenting this as well. So people will really have, again, this sort of immersive, close proximity. And it's also a lot of composers, like when they write chamber music and song cycles, traditionally the history of that form is an opportunity for composers to often write their most personal, intimate, and like deeply felt lyrics and musical offerings. And so this piece is definitely a sort of meditation on all of those things: homecoming, memory, identity.
John, we have talked about the musical aspects of this, but as the director of the City of Literature and an author in your own right, talk about the literary aspects of this piece.
Yeah, well, obviously, I mean, it doesn't get much more foundational than the Odyssey. And so to have a piece that is both inspired by and obviously informed by that story that everyone knows so well, but then takes it into different directions and finds, I think, new things within that story. I mean, it's exciting for us to be able to present this piece and to again, show that the storytelling and the music together can take that into a place where it's not normally going to be. I mean, it's wonderful for me as a reader, writer, music listener every year to come to this festival, and pieces of writing that I'm familiar with or that I've become familiar with through putting this together. It's like they're just exploded almost, and suddenly there are pieces that you can see in the writing and understand better or in a different way because of the musical accompaniment. There's different emphasis on different things from the stories. And so again, having listened to this, I was just on a road trip this weekend and was listening to this in the car. And suddenly the story kind of interpolated into this different format became much more resonant for me, just being able to experience it in this new way. So it's wonderful for us. A lot of the work that we do as a City of Literature is trying to make people aware that literature doesn't need to always represent that kind of stuffiness that I think people associate with the term, the leather-bound volume on the shelf, that literature can be any number of things. It can be comics, it can be screenwriting, it can obviously poetry and essays and all those things that people traditionally think of, but it can be so much more. And when you add in the element of music, obviously, it really helps to bring that point home.
Literature is not just the books they forced you to read in middle and high school.
Exactly, exactly.
I also love kind of the meta aspect of this piece in that it's inspired by the Odyssey, but then the wife reads the Odyssey to her husband. So it's kind of the snake that devours itself a little bit.
Yeah, it definitely has those kind of metafictional elements to it, which I think again just deepens people's understanding or appreciation for the kind of the root story that again we are so familiar with from high school and from the endless retellings of the Odyssey over the years in different formats.
MusicIC Festival presents Penelope, one performance only, correct?
Yes, do not miss it.
Yeah. April 26th, it'll be at the James in Iowa City. John, how do we get tickets?
The tickets are available on our festival website, which is musicic.org. So make sure you get IC in there twice, musicic.org. You can also find your way there if you just go to our website, which is iowacityofliterature.org, and just click the Music IC button there. But that'll take you right to the information to be able to buy tickets. And the James is, as Tricia said, a nice intimate space. So it's a great place to see things, but there aren't a ton of tickets. So make sure that you jump on that opportunity as soon as you can.
I love music and events like this that really combine and or defy genre classification. And it sounds like you've really picked a great piece to do that. Again, it's Penelope, the MusicIC Festival, April 26th, the James, MusicIC.org if you'd like to get tickets. I hope you sell it out. Tricia, John, thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dennis.
Thank you so much.
You can hear the Culture Crawl live on the radio most weekdays at 10:30, on demand at kcck.org/culture, or subscribe using your favorite podcast player. Watch our videos on the KCCK Facebook and YouTube channels. Our producer is Lydia Kilgore. The Culture Crawl theme is composed by Vivian Shanley. I'm Dennis Green, and I'll talk to you later.